Hello students, welcome once again to online platform of Little Flower School, Salempur. Good morning to everyone. This is Arshna Mishra with the GSE of class 4th. Yesterday we have discussed about the chapter 2 and chapter 2 was about plants making the food. Today again we will continue with the same chapter, but the topic is role of leaf in photosynthesis. Role of leaf in photosynthesis. Role of leaf in photosynthesis. But before starting that, let's understand the structure of the leaf. This is the structure for the leaf. Let's see. This is what called the structure for the leaves. I am trying to draw the rough diagram of that. This is veins. This is what called veins, and this part is called the midvein. What it is called? Midvein. And this is what called veins. Veins. And a small pore or a tiny pore on the surface of leaf is called the stomata. Tiny pores on the surface of the leaf is called the stomata. This is parts of the leaf. Now we will see what is the role of leaf in the process of the photosynthesis. Most of the leaves are thin with a large flat surface. Chlorophyll is present in the leaf, and this chlorophyll absorbs the sunlight when it falls on the leaf. The thin veins, these are the thin veins. This is present on the surface of leaf. They take water to all parts of the leaf. The carbon dioxide needed for the photosynthesis, from where do they get? They get the carbon dioxide from the air, and this enters the leaf through the stomata. This carbon dioxide enters the leaf through the stomata, and this stomata is present usually on the lower surface of the leaf. The roots absorb water and nutrients from the soil and transport water to the leaf. Now, leaves, what do? They prepare the food for the plants in the presence of sunlight, as we have discussed in the last class. And in the process of preparing their food, they release oxygen into the atmosphere, and this through their stomata they release, this stomata only they release the oxygen into the atmosphere, and this oxygen is used by the animals and humans for breathing purpose. This is the role of the leaf in photosynthesis. Now we have to perform the two activities to show that chlorophyll is necessary for the photosynthesis, and to show that sunlight is necessary for the photosynthesis. Let's see how. What we have to do, we have to take a leaf, and that leaf also from the croton plant. From which plant? Croton plant. We know that the speciality of the leaf of this plant is partly green. It is partly green and then partly non-green. partly green and partly non-green. Partly green and partly non-green. Now we have to perform the starch test as we have performed in the last class. What we have to do? We have to, after performing this whole activity, how we have to check that whether the starch is present in the leaves or not. We have to pour some drops of iodine solution on the leaf. When we pour iodine solution on this green part of the leaf, we can see that it turns into blue-black color, but here this non-green part doesn't show any action. What does it mean? It means that this green portion of the leaf, have starch, but this non-green portion doesn't have starch. Means in the green portion, process of photosynthesis is carried out. Means it has made the food, but this part has not made the food. This clearly shows that chlorophyll is necessary for the process of the photosynthesis. Clear? Clear to everyone? Yes. Now we will see the next activity. What to do? We have to take a plant and we have to cover some leaves of this plant with dark paper, and other parts we have to leave like that only uncovered. For 2 or 3 days or for 4 or 5 hours only, we have to put the plant in the sunlight, and then we have to perform the starch test again. We can see that the leaf which was covered with dark paper, their starch test, when it was performed, no changes occurred on that covered leaf. But when it was performed in the leaf which was not covered, it shows blue-black color. It means sunlight is necessary for the photosynthesis. Means without the sunlight, process of photosynthesis cannot be carried out. This is the way we have understood that chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, these 4 things are necessary for process of the photosynthesis. Now we will study the next topic, interdependence of plants and animals. Interdependence of plants and animals. What is meaning of interdependence? Means how these plants and animals are interdependent or dependent on each other. If in the process of photosynthesis, plants take carbon dioxide from the air. But do you know from where this carbon dioxide enters the air or the atmosphere? During the process of breathing or during the breathing, animals breathe out. What do the animals do? They breathe out carbon dioxide. What do they breathe out? They breathe out carbon dioxide, which is used by the plants during the process of photosynthesis. Now, these green plants are the main producers of the food, and these humans and animals depend on them for the food. Carnivorous animals eat plant-eating animal, and indirectly they are also dependent on the plants only. Suppose deer eats the grass, and this deer is eaten by the lion. It means lion is also dependent on the grass itself. And these green plants, when they do the process of photosynthesis, they give out oxygen, and this oxygen is used by the animals and humans for the breeding purpose. Thus we can say that animals and plants are interdependent on each other. Clear to everyone? Now we are going to study the last topic of the chapter, balance in nature. Balance in nature. Balance in nature is very essential, because when this is disturbed, suppose if the balance in nature is disturbed, the whole process of the food chain will be disturbed. Let's see how. A food chain in a nature helps to maintain this balance in the nature. A food chain always starts with the plant life and ends with the animal life. Let's see how. This grass is what? Plant. And this grass is eaten by the deer. And what if we talk about the category of deer, this is what? Herbivores. And this deer is eaten by the lion, which in turn is carnivore. So we can see that this is what called the simple food chain. We can see that this is starting with the plant life and ending with the animal life. Okay? Yes. Suppose if the number of the animals is increased, then there will be less oxygen for them to breathe or less grass for eating. Then what will happen? Due to starvation, some animals may die, and if there will be less animals, the plants will not get enough carbon dioxide for preparing their food. Thus in turn, this whole balance will be disturbed. So in order to maintain balance in nature, every member of the food chain is equally important. This is all about the chapter. Now you have to revise whole chapter, and tomorrow when we meet, we will start with the exercise. Thank you.